This is for the quiet ones, you urban heroes and dreamer queens. For those chasing the light, obsessing till you see. Your early risers, nature fighters that begin where the rest of them cease. Your story makers, content creators that get going when most take to leave. Your passion is fuel for fire. See the truth, aim higher. Start small, build empires. Win the race when you're lighter. They say bigger is better, they say smaller is clever. Stick it up to the big guy. We make it light so you can stay fly. Do it for the epic, the preppy, the beauty, the moment, the truth, and the real thing. Make your own rules and own dreams. Make a world where you're a king. Make art that makes peace. Show truth, part seas. Find love where hate lives. Bring light to the strange things. Live while it lasts. Make it count. Make your mark. Give this your best shot. Your all. Your heart. Break free from normal. Break loose of the weight. Break rules if you need to. Break free from old ways. Break through limits. Break convention. Go break free from those burdens. And show them.
Welcome to our 5th annual Roberts Gallery Night, brought to you by our friends at Olympus. My name is Meredith Ranker, and I am one of the owners of Roberts Camera here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I am sad to be coming to you tonight virtually and on video, as our gallery night has always been an event of celebration. It's been coming together to celebrate photography and photographers and be inspired by great work. We get submissions for our gallery night from all over the country, so it's truly an opportunity to see the different things that people are doing all across the country and be inspired and celebrate the art that we know and love, which is photography. But sadly, this is the hand we've been dealt this year, so we are coming to you virtually. We still plan to bring you an evening of amazing imagery, a lot of fun, some really informative information, and I think you're gonna really enjoy the show tonight. It's just, the images never cease to blow me away. The amount of images that we receive and the quality of the images is mind-blowing. We are extremely fortunate to have partnered with our friends at photopxl.com. Kevin Raber of PhotoPXL was already going to be our guest judge for this event. And then when we made the decision to go virtually, Kevin and Michael sprung into action and helped bring us this great video that you're going to see this evening. You're going to hear from both Kevin as well as Juan Flores of Roberts Camera. They're going to take you through the images that they selected for each category. Kevin's also going to take you through an image critique of some things that he might have changed with different images, which is going to be really interesting. They'll show you the category winners, and we'll also hear from Mike Amico at Olympus, as well as our overall winner. So it's going to be a really great show for you this evening. I know that you're going to enjoy it. We thank you for being here with us tonight and taking the time to see this great work and celebrate photography with us. We hope that next year we can all be raising a glass at our downtown store in Indianapolis and seeing this work in person. But until then, we celebrate with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith, for the great introduction, and it's a privilege to be part of the 2020 gallery event for Roberts Camera. I was very honored to be here, and it's been a lot of fun. First off, when I got the call from Meredith, it was like, wow, really? Cool. I'd love to do this. It's right up my alley, and boy, I'll tell you one thing, I didn't expect to see all the great photography that I saw. I was astounded by the entries, and you'll get to see those in a second. But I do want to thank Meredith and the whole team at Roberts, Juan, and everybody that worked on this to make this event a reality. Tough year for all of us. And rather than just cancel it, they put their heads together, came up with a solution, and we hope you can really enjoy this show. You can play it back, you can take a break, you can put it on pause, come on back to it anytime you want. There's a lot of content here. We're going to see photographs, there's a critique at the end, and you'll find out somewhere in all these images And there are 7 categories, and we had to narrow each category down to 20 images. Buried in there are the winners. Let's see if you can figure out who they are. Juan?
Hi, I'm Juan Flores. I am the social media manager for Roberts Camera and Use Photo Pro. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Roberts Camera and at Use Photo Pro. We like to showcase what the community photographs. So if you hashtag Roberts Camera or hashtag Use Photo Pro, we will share your images across our social platforms. And we also will showcase different community events, education classes, and workshops to our audience as well. I'd like to thank all the photographers that submitted this year. We had over 1,000, over about 1,500 images submitted this year. So it was a very tough call for the judges and I to make these decisions for all the categories. But I'm really looking forward to seeing all the finalists and as well as the category winners. So here we go. After much tough deliberations and decision making, those were the top 20 finalists for the architecture category. It was really fascinating to see all the great images that came through. And Kevin is going to reveal the winning image for this category. Kevin?
Reveal. I love that. Yeah. Yes, well, first off, thanks, Juan. And yeah, there were a lot of cool pictures in this category. It kind of made judging a little hard, but there was one image that stood out really well, and it's this image. And when you look at this image, you just feel something. It's the patterns, it's the geometry, it's the difference. It's not a picture of an outside of a building and other things that you might associate with architecture. It's an interior. And the photographer did a very good job playing with light, shadow, patterns, and leading lines. And this was just the standout image. And I'm very happy that we picked this one. And the photographer who shot this should be very proud that they actually saw this and were able to produce it.
We are going to hear from Mike Amico here in a minute. Mike is our Olympus representative here at Roberts. He is extremely knowledgeable. He is a Micro Four Thirds expert and incredible photographer. Over the last 5 years, we have been so fortunate to have Olympus as our partner, because truly these gallery nights would not have been possible without their sponsorship and support of this event. So a huge thank you to Olympus. And you're going to hear from Mike this evening about some of the great Olympus gear, some of the images, and some thoughts from him.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining the Roberts 2020 Gallery Night with Roberts Camera and Olympus. I'm Mike Amico. I'm the Olympus sales rep for Roberts Camera, and I just want to to welcome everybody to the 2020 Roberts Gallery Night. I'm very excited to see what transpires tonight. I've seen a couple of the images, but I'm really looking forward to seeing everything. I know it's going to be a great night. I really appreciate you guys entering the contest. I appreciate you helping the industry to really grow and shine, through your work and what you're putting forth tonight. And I'm really proud also as Olympus to be a sponsor for the Roberts 2020 Gallery Night. We've been doing this for a few years now, and it's always a pleasure to be able to bring this to you with Roberts Camera. And again, it's a pleasure to be able to give back to the winners and really get people to see what Olympus can offer as well. I mean, everything from, starry sky autofocus now to, high resolution modes to live composition modes to all kinds of fun stuff packed into a small camera that's weather resistant and has a lot of fun to offer to the photographer. So again, very proud to be a sponsor, and thanks everybody for being a part of the 2020 Roberts Gallery Night.
So Kevin, what makes a really good portrait photograph?
A lot of things. All right, I'll be serious this time.
Okay.
I just
Well,
need
I
to
realize
loosen
that-
you up. You're so tense, man.
I know. It's because I'm nervous in front of the camera.
There's the camera's just a camera. Wait till you sit. Michael puts the blooper roll and shows it to Bruce.
So Kevin, what makes a really good portrait photograph?
A photograph should tell a story. A portrait should tell a story. Most people sometimes think portraits should be head and shoulder shots like we used to get back in elementary school and sometimes for our graduation pictures. But portraits are so much more these days, and the portrait that won this category was truly exceptional. And
It was amazing.
this was probably just so stand out as far as a great picture goes. You've got an old guy, typical barber, and it's kind of funny. We, in our way of thinking, always find stereotypes, okay? Things that are influence, things that we think about, when they say, oh, a barber chair or a barber or a fireman or a policeman or a mailman. You look at uniforms, you look at the things and letters and a bag over their shoulder. So there's a lot of things that define it. Well, this particular shot has so much going on that it's a feast for the eye. And things are so well positioned in the shot, and nobody's making eye contact. And for a lot of people doing portrait work, they believe eye contact should be something of a priority. Well, portraits don't always need an eye contact. I mean, there's the jacket hanging here. This guy is kind of off looking away. He could be watching a television set like many barbers have on the side. You know, the barber is working on his beard, there's the tousled hair. I love the detail with the sneakers and the bows sticking up, the extension cords hanging, the reflection of the chair, you know, the barber pole image in the back, the clock on the wall, and then there's the mirror hanging on the window between the two subjects. This thing is so well thought out as far as a shot goes, and I believe it most likely took the photographer a little bit of work, to say the least, to accomplish this shot, but it's well done. And what also works for this is, you know, the lighting is quite difficult, and they've done some things in post-processing to kind of give it, you know, that kind of feel, that kind of texture to it, and not just, you know, leave it as it was. And that also plays nicely into it. It's reminiscent of, you know, the kind of Rockwell pictures that we remember seeing on calendars and magazine covers, you know, small town barber kind of thing. So my hat is off to the photographer that shot this shot. You did great. damn, those were some fine images, man. You know, sports is a really tough thing to photograph, and you know, they're just pretty damn impressive. What do you think?
Oh yes, no, it was very tough to decide the top 20 finalists for the sports category. And it was also fun to see all the various styles of sports coming through the submissions. So Kevin's actually going to reveal the winning image for this category.
Well, here's the winning image, and let me tell you why I really like this image a whole lot. It was obviously a shot done with a remote control. It had to be set up to do, and all the elements just work. If you look at the guy's head in the basket, you look at the faces, the ball, the hand under the ball, the people's expressions in the back, and even the agony of this guy back here. It just, I don't know how it happened, and it's one of those things that are typical in sports, you know, that 1 millisecond where it all just falls into place. It definitely just eludes good composition and a lot of probably luck and good technique, very good technique, especially to be able to set this thing up as a remote and do it the way they did it. So congratulations. Those are incredible wildlife pictures. A lot of good birds and other things. And every one of those, no matter how easy they look in regards to the picture, I can tell you, because I just sit in the backyard trying to shoot birds all the time, and I'm actually doing really good bird pictures. But not half as good as what was submitted here, and nothing like the one we have now. What did you think?
This category, I definitely really liked the approach of all the wildlife images as well as the natural world aspects that everyone viewed with their own two eyes. It was very tough to narrow down to the top 20, but I think we did a pretty good job as far as picking out the very good ones, and Kevin is going to show us the winning image for this.
Well, here it is. It's an outstanding image. The face, the eyes, the crossed paw, kind of like a runway model, you know, where you always have to cross your leg over in front of each other. Definitely that cat really has its act together. Great job, and your post-processing treatment was excellent.
And those were the finalists for the landscape category. It was really fascinating to see the various sceneries around the world from every photographer that submitted to this category. It was very tough to judge the landscape just for the fact of we see landscapes every day. So being desensitized to it and being able to pick some really great photos out there. And Kevin is going to show us the winning image.
Well, here it is. Are you ready? Boom. This was, I think, it came to the top because it required so much more than a lot of the other photographs, and there were some really good photographs. And in my critique, I'm going to take a couple landscape pictures and show a little bit about what just a little bit of cropping, burning, and dodging could have done to even make some other images even that more outstanding. There were so many good ones. But this one kind of just is pretty neat. First off, to catch that amount of lightning can be done in many ways. It's certainly not done in one shot. You could drag a shutter, or you could shoot many shots and then bring just the images in and layer them in, which they may have done. It's not really important how it's done. What's important is it's a really well done image. The sky, I like the hue of the sky, the clouds in the sky, the lighting, the warmth. But what sets it apart is the basic idea of always including a foreground in the shot. And so the lifeguard stand being there, facing the wrong direction, ironically, but it still works quite well. It's lit quite nicely. And the only thing I probably would have done a little different is cropping a little bit to the left. There's a couple lightning bolts over there, but the strength obviously is in this area here. So the artist that did the shot, congratulations, very well done. Having shot a lot of lightning pictures in my day, mostly with a lot of failure, I'd say you got mission accomplished there.
Animals move fast, and they move really unpredictably. So having gear that's lightweight is game-changing. Olympus's OMD EM1 Mark III is incredible. You can move just as fast as you need to when there's all of a minute of action in a whole day of shooting. But those 3 seconds where that animal makes eye contact with you and your gear is ready to go, it's so energizing that those other 9 hours of exhaustion, they're gone.
So those were the finalists for the documentary category. The one thing I really enjoyed about this is being able to capture just a brief moment in time. And some of these photographs as well were able to see something that you normally wouldn't see, or be able to see something from a different perspective. So it's fascinating to see the storytelling that went into these photographs. And Kevin is going to show us the top one for this category.
Well, the top one for this category was that of a firefighter. And having been a firefighter for many years, I kind of am partial to shots like this. But these kind of pictures can tell a story so well. And you know, you can read so much into this picture. The guy's obviously pushing his mask back up on his face. Most likely has come out from inside a fire. We have no idea whether there's tragedy in the fire or just, you know, the perils that he faced. But you know, his eyes, his head down, the dirt on his face. There's that kind of anguished look that you have. The background is sufficiently and well done out of focus. It just reeked, you know, definition and drama. And I thought that this just was an outstanding shot because it tells a story that we might not know, but we can interpret many ways.
Cars, motorcycles, they are my passion. I drive and ride them, I collect them, and I photograph them. There is nothing better than the roar of the engine, the speed and the excitement. And I am fortunate enough to be able to combine my passion and my business. Olympus cameras allow me to capture these motorsports images accurately and fast without hesitation. They provide the confidence that without a doubt when I press that button, I'm going to capture the image that I'm going for. The reliability that EM1X is like no other. Being lightweight allows ease of mobility, which is a great advantage when shooting motorsports. A track can be well over 2 miles long, and running from turn to turn can be exhausting. This lightweight gear is game-changing. I used to carry a separate case just for my long lens. Now my 300, which is the equivalent of 600 millimeters, fits nicely in a case with a number of other lenses. This simplifies the headache of multiple heavy cases while out on location. From packing up gear for your next job and hopping on a plane, to running from one end of a track to the other, the new EM1X will change how the pros think about motorsports shooting. At most tracks, for safety, you need to shoot behind guardrails and impact crash zones. This typically puts you at a significant distance from the subject. The 300 really allows you to get up close and grab the action. In addition to the equivalent of a 600 millimeter lens and f4 quickness, you're going to get 7.5 stops of built-in stabilization. I can't tell you enough how key this is. I am not a fan of monopods. Most people think you need them to shoot with long lenses. This dual stabilization, combined with a lightweight lens and body, allow me to keep that dated monopod in the case. Hand holding the camera allows me to be more free and adjust my angles more quickly. Shooting out in the elements, you can face snow, rain, dirt, and extreme temperatures. Having a system that is weather sealed and reliable in adverse conditions just adds to the excitement of using the new EM1X. An incredible new feature in the EM1X is the advanced continuous autofocus tracking. Just dial in the motorsports icon in the menu. This new multi-engine processor actually identifies helmets and tires and other race car details. It's truly a powerful tool that will allow you to track motorsports like never before, helping you capture that jumping motorcycle or a car doing 200 miles an hour down the track with a more successful hit rate. I do a lot of car-to-car shooting for my corporate auto clients. The combination of the camera's lightweight with articulating screen for low-angle shooting with stabilization added to the new tracking will just render more and more usable shots. And my clients are gonna love that. The EM1X is a great addition to the OMD series, geared towards that pro who needs to capture real-life motion with reliability, portability, and consistency.
God, that word fantasy just gets me sweating. Whew. Why did we pick a category called fantasy?
We really enjoy seeing people's creativity when it comes to photography. There's a lot of people out there that shoot what we see with the camera, but there are those that like to push the boundaries a little bit more to what can be conceptualized in our world. And these photographers did a really great job on being able to bring their imagination to life. And Kevin is actually going to show us the winning image for this category.
This image is one of my favorites. It kind of exudes fantasy all the way, and they're just really well done. I know it's a composite of a lot of different images and an awful lot of Photoshop work that went into this. We kind of like this image so much that we did a behind the scenes story on PhotoPXL of this shot and what it took to make this shot. And I know all the other photographers just worked just as hard to make some of the entries that they did, because every one of these pictures required a lot of work. Some of them were a little different in the sense, but this one just kind of had all the elements working for it. So you go to PhotoPXL, we'll put the link to the article below and in the description, and you can take a look at how this was done behind the scenes. But the photographer did a great job. There's subtlety where there needs to be subtlety, and there's highlights where there needs to be. Whoever did this picture is a master with Photoshop, and it's just an extremely well done. There's no question that it's just the outstanding winner for this category.
Alrighty, so after we witnessed all those amazing images, we had to select one that was the best of the best. It was rather difficult to choose which one, but there was one image in particular that all of the judges kept on gravitating back towards. Kevin's going to show us the overall winner for the Roberts Gallery Night 2020.
Now this would be like in one of the TV shows where we cut the commercial and make you wait a minute before you see it.
We imagined a different kind of camera and ignited the mirrorless revolution by building the world's most portable camera system that delivers awe-inspiring sharpness. Create something that stands apart and break free.
We had to look at a lot of images, and trying to pick the right one, it was a very difficult choice. But as we took a look at all the merits of each image, this particular image, which you saw earlier, just came to the top.
Amazing.
I wish you could see a print of this, obviously on the screen and so forth. It probably doesn't do it justice, but in a print, this is what I would call an immersive print. I look at prints that can be made, say 30 inches, 40 inches big, and you stand 4 feet away from them. And then you start taking small steps as you just start discovering things in the image. And when you start going into this image, you start seeing the pictures on the counter, all the other little things that go on in this picture, and you want to see what the details of these things are. And so you kind of want to walk in there and look at every single one of them. There's 8x10 photographs up here, must have been. There's a name tag up here. There's just so much going on. There's cups hanging up on the windowsill. So the more you explore this image, the more you discover what this image is like. This just is one of the reasons why we ended up picking this image as the overall winner, because it's an image that makes you want to explore and immerse yourself into this image and find all the little hidden treasures that are in it.
I am here with Joe Ring, who is the winner of our Gallery Night contest that has been sponsored by Olympus. He is the winner in this somewhat strange year of 2020, where we can't get together and we're coming to you virtually. So this is a really cool opportunity because normally, we have a big event here at the store, and Joe, chances are you may not have been able to make the trip in for it if we had done that. So this is a really special opportunity to be able to talk to you one-on-one and learn a little bit more about our winning image. We have not done this before. So thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was quite a surprise too.
And yes, and congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you.
So, Joe, I am going to start by asking you a little bit about your background in photography. How long have you been shooting? What kind of things do you like to shoot?
My original start was back in the mid-'70s. I actually did it professionally, starting with home baby portraits and mass shooting portraits in shopping malls for a large photo company.
Wow.
I broke off with another photographer and opened up a studio in New Rochelle, New York. Partnership went bad, and that lasted about a year. And then I closed shop and did weddings for people I competed against. For about a year, I did weddings every weekend and just got burned out, and I stopped doing photography altogether. Got a job with the state of New Jersey in 1983, no photography until I retired in 2007. And my stepdaughter showed up with a digital camera. And it's like, whoa, look at this. It's like totally different from celluloid. And that got me started back into doing this. And I joined a local camera club, did some volunteer work for our local public PBS broadcasting station. And next thing I know, I'm a stringer for them. I'm covering all their events for them. So it turned out to be a paid gig, which was kind of nice. Of course, that kind of went on a wayside now, so it's not anymore.
So this picture that everyone has seen, Kevin and Juan, our judges, talked a little bit about your winning image, which is the image in the barbershop. Tell me a little bit about how you got this, a little background story on this picture.
Well, I had seen an ad. I'm not sure where it was, or whether it was on Facebook or it was an email post about this little hardware store out in the country. And the gentleman had a lot of 1920s cars, and he had them in a row outside. So I checked out to see where it was, and I decided to take a ride and see what was there. And come to find out, it's a huge hardware store and somewhat eclectic. It's a mom and pop business. There were no cars when I got there, but the owner opened up the door for me in top hat and tails, which I thought was rather unusual. And apparently it's a rather large sort of grocery store, post office, all kinds of sundries. Upstairs is a major hardware store with a beauty parlor in the front end of the upstairs. The first floor where I first walked in was the post office, the little grocery store. He's got his little barber shop in the corner, and he cuts the hair. And in the back, of all things, is a karaoke club, which I guess they do on Saturday and Sunday nights. Down in the basement is a junk shop, and in the back of the basement, with an outside ramp, are a whole row of 1920s and 1930s vehicles, which I guess he can actually drive out because some of them run.
So they have everything.
They pretty much have everything. But anyway, I guess his nephew showed up and he started giving him a haircut. Took his top hat off and took his jacket off and started giving him a haircut and trimmed his beard. So, to me, the setting looked like a Rockwell. Just the background did. I got a background of the entire barbershop area first anyway, but he started doing this, and he didn't mind me photographing him. So I took a bunch of shots, and everything. That's a totally candid shot. I posed none of that. It's a sequence of him doing what he's doing, so it's all natural.
Well, it turned out exactly as you had hoped. It is has that Rockwell feel, and all the elements that I'm sure you saw as well when you were just looking around are what our judges loved about the image as a whole. They said there were just so many little things that they wanted to dig in further and look at. And Joe, wait, tell me again, this location, it's in Virginia, is where you found this place?
It's about an hour and a half out in the country from where I am. I think the population is somewhere around 700. It's a little town. I don't know how many acres it is, but it's a long way to get out there. A lot of back roads to get to this little place.
And then, Joe, tell me about the equipment that you used to take the picture.
Well, in this particular case, I had my Z6 with me.
Okay.
And I had the Sony 16 to 35 on it. And there's an adapter made by TechArt that will fit Sony lenses onto the Z6 bodies.
Okay.
And that's what I use. They work full auto, so that's what I used for this particular case. I wanted something wide, so I can get shots of the store. And a 35 worked out nice because it was tight space from where I was and where the chair was. And I still wanted to get all that background. So.
Well, that's great. Okay, and then Joe, I have to ask you, just because as being a photographer, you're perfectly posed in front of a beautiful scene of donuts here. Tell me about this store, since we'll have hopefully lots of people that will see this video. Maybe some people can visit.
Well, the locals know it. It's the Donuts shop, and it's on Midlothian Turnpike in Henrico County.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us this morning and tell us a little bit more about the image that we loved so much, and that I know once we're able to share this video with everybody, they're going to love as well. We, as the grand prize winner, you were winning an Olympus EM5 Mark III camera.
Nice.
14 to 150 millimeter lens. It's just an incredible setup. And as somebody, it sounds like, Nikon and Sony lenses, have utilized a lot of different lines. So I'll be very anxious to hear what you think about Olympus. But thank you for being a part of this contest and helping to raise the bar and contribute incredible work. It was just so wonderful to see everything. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you for being willing to chat with us this morning. Like I said, this is a nice perk, I guess, of being able to do this virtually. We wouldn't have had this opportunity otherwise. So thank you for being willing to talk to me this morning.
Very cool. Thank you. It was very nice meeting you.
This was quite an adventure, everyone. I got a phone call from Meredith a few months ago and asked if I would like to be the judge of their annual gallery night, and I was honored to do that. I love working with photographs. I love working with photographers, helping them to see their images differently, and I was very excited to be part of this. I wish it was under different circumstances without a pandemic, but it is what it is, and as everything else, and as all of you have done, we have found a way to continue with things, but in a new way. Hopefully it won't be the permanent way. So first off, thank you, Meredith and Roberts Imaging, for doing this. Juan, you put an awful lot of work into this. Thank you. You took every one of the images, you categorized them, put them into some sort of a semblance so that when we did the judging, and there were a lot of images that we looked at doing the judging, that we could come down to the top 20 and then the final images. And the work behind the scenes done by Juan was extreme. I know you put an awful lot of hours into it, and you did it well. And plus, you were a fun guy to work with. I enjoyed working with you, and I appreciate your ability to organize things and make the job when I came in that much easier. Bruce and Meredith, you guys and whole Roberts team, there isn't a camera store out there like Roberts. I always tell my friends it's kind of like the hardware store my father used to take me to when I was a little kid, and I would go to the hardware store and he'd find a weird wheel or a screw or a nut or something. And that's kind of how it is when you go to Roberts. You can explore a lot of different things, especially in the used department. The things they have there, you just don't see anymore. And it's always a fun trip. But more than anything else, what makes Roberts so much different than everybody else, and most of you probably already know that since you're dealing with them, are the people. All the sales guys out there, to them, yes, it's a job, but it's also their passion and their love, and they do that every single day. And they do great jobs with making sure that if you need a camera system, it's not the wrong camera system for you. They ask the right questions. They try to get you into a system that best suits the kind of photography you do. And in today's world, that's exceptional. The after service part is to be thankful for too. Unlike a lot of box movers afterwards, if you try to go get a camera there, you don't know who you're dealing with, you don't know if you can get service, or if you have problems, you don't know what to do. Roberts, they'll help you. They'll let you understand how to set the settings. They'll help you as things come out of the box. And when it comes to buying the next lens and the next accessory or the right camera strap or the right camera bag, their guys have all the experience in the world. And I should say gals too, because there are gals there too. Anyway, it's an exceptional store. It's great that it's only a 20-minute drive from my house. There's not a time I don't mind going in there. I wish they would put a keg in the corner and a cafe in the other corner, because then I would hang out there all day long. And let's not forget the sponsor of this event, Olympus camera. Olympus has been in a lot of headlines recently. A lot of people don't really understand how to take the headlines, but they're still there. Olympus is one hell of a camera system. They make great lenses, great cameras, and especially Mike Amico, who's the Olympus rep for Roberts, is an exceptional, fun guy. He's always there to help you. He's always there, and he's been on many of our On the Rock shows. Anyway, Michael, thank you for doing all you did for this program, and Olympus, thank you also for all that you've done. It's been a heck of a fun time, and I really wish we could be elbow to elbow drinking wine and eating cheese and all the other things we would do in a social environment. So hopefully you've had some cheese and wine while you've watched this, and we're able to celebrate with us. Juan, anything you have to add? Want to add?
I just want to say thank you so much, Kevin, for being a guest judge for the Roberts Gallery Night. It was a joy to work with you. I also want to thank all the photographers that submitted to this year. We had a lot of really great photographs that came through that made our job much more difficult to do. So we wouldn't necessarily have this opportunity if it wasn't for you, the photographer, submitting the images. So we thank you to all those that participated. And echoing on your thoughts there, thank you to Olympus for sponsoring the Roberts Gallery Night. They are a huge friend to Roberts Camera, especially our gallery night, and we enjoy the journey that we have with Olympus, so thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Amico from Olympus. Just want to close this out and say, wow. I mean, what amazing work from everybody tonight. Really appreciate, again, the efforts of everybody. Congratulations to the winners of the Olympus gear. I think you're going to find that this compact, powerful, fun gear in your kit is really going to have you just bring back that joy of photography into your work. I think you're going to have a great time with our cameras. They're just feature packed, and I think you're really going to have a lot of fun with these. So once again, we're proud as Olympus to be a sponsor of the 2020 Roberts Gallery Night, and looking forward to many more in the future. Again, thank you everybody for submitting and being a part of this industry and really keeping it alive and exciting. That is the biggest part of this, and it really is what makes it worth it for everybody involved, and I appreciate it. Great work, everybody. Thank you.
And for all of you that didn't enter this competition this year, think about it for next year. There's an awful lot of good photographers, and your photography is probably right up there. Don't be bashful. Get your entries in, be part of this next year. Hopefully we'll be in real time next year, and you can be part of this. And please, stay tuned, because what I like to do now is take some of the images that we looked at that were so close.
Yep, they were just right there.
And I'm going to run through what I would do with these images to change them to be in the finals. And it will be a little bit of fun. I hope you enjoy. You might not always agree with what I'm going to do, but it's my sharing to you of what I see in an image. And I do a lot of critiques, portfolio reviews, and a lot of teaching all around the world on my workshops and as guests to different associations and so forth. So please enjoy that, take a look, and no matter where you are in your photography, hopefully you'll see some of the things that I saw and also understand some of the things that you might want to consider when evaluating your images and making your final prints. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight to see the truly spectacular images that were submitted with our Gallery Night event. A huge thank you to Olympus for sponsoring this event this year and over the last 5 years. A huge thank you to Kevin Raber and Michael Durr of Photo PXL and Juan Flores of Roberts Camera and Use Photo Pro, for which this event truly would not have been possible. They from the judging to the image submission to the video this evening, they made the whole thing happen. So I am so grateful to them for allowing us to continue to bring you this event, even though we had to do it a little bit differently this year. I know this has been an extremely difficult, challenging, frustrating year for everyone, but I know the photography community has been hit especially hard during this time. So we hope that tonight we could bring everybody a little bit of pause and allow you to take a little bit of a breather to enjoy the craft and the art that you truly love. You can see all of these images on our Roberts Camera Facebook page. The gallery will be up through August 31st. We hope that we will use this as inspiration of submitting images for next year. Our Gallery Night photo contest kicks off every year on May 1st, and we hope that next year we will all be able to raise a glass in person during our Gallery Night event in 2021. Thank you.